Hello and welcome back to World Talks. I'm Jastrzębska. After much back and forth, Poland will not take part in the European Union's migration relocation scheme. Prime Minister Donald Tusk has said, adding that Brussels accepts Warsaw's arguments. To discuss, I am joined by Piotr Maciej Kaczyński, lecturer, University of Warsaw. Hello and welcome, sir.
Good morning. Good to be back.
So, Prime Minister has stated that Poland will be exempt from the EU Migration Pact. How certain is this? Do we have Brussels' response, or are we still waiting?
Well, the Commission did not yet formally and fully acknowledge that it will take place, but former Commissioner Johansson has been talking about this possibility already for over 2 years. So that's not really a great surprise that it's going to happen. Why so? Because under the new rules of the migration policy, there is this big bracket which says that if a country has taken a lot of migrants, then of course it will be released from any additional migratory flows, and as long as the situation persists. And this has been known already from the beginning of when this law was written down. Therefore, this is something which is fully anticipated, and now Prime Minister Tusk has probably announced what he has heard or learned unofficially just ahead of the formal steps that the Commission will probably launch in the coming days.
Right, because the Commission's decision is expected next week, right? I mean, how long will Poland's exemption last?
That's also difficult to say, because it will definitely be linked with the fact of the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia, and the fact that this temporary stays of Ukrainians on the EU territory and in Poland in particular are taking place. So if there was a peace situation tomorrow, and people who have been refugeeing or leaving Ukraine for countries like Poland or Germany or Czech Republic or others, they were to return to Ukraine just like that on the spot, then clearly the reason for Poland to be exempted from the EU migratory would be gone, and then Poland would be returning to that regime. So to answer the question shortly, all is in limbo and depends on the situation.
You've already spoke about this, but let's sum up what legal or treaty arguments Warsaw invoked to justify this exemption.
Well, we're invoking not treaties, but Warsaw is using the provisions of the law itself. The law is entering into force these days. It has it's a delayed entrance into force. It was adopted about 2 years ago, and there is a paragraph in that law which allows for Poland to trigger that instrument, and Poland has done so.
And could Poland's stance sort of encourage similar objections from other member states? How might that sort of affect the pact's viability?
Yes and no, because every case is different. So it's not an emotional statement whether you want to use or not that provision of suspending the pact, but you need to have solid grounds for doing that. The Commission is proposing to exempt, for example, Poland, and then the Council of the European Union needs to do that. So if another kind of similar situation, be it Hungary, be it Slovakia or anybody else, they need to make a special request, and they will see whether the Commission agrees with that request, and then the Council agrees with that request. So that's not really an emotional trick or politicking out there. It's a solid argument of hosting over 900,000 Ukrainian refugees in Poland years now, and therefore there is no need or necessity for Poland to participate in that exchange mechanisms out there, which have been agreed by the EU.
By all means, but do you think that this exception will shift the burden more heavily onto other states? Of course, I was thinking about Greece, Italy or Spain, or are they also under pressure? And so what tensions could this possibly generate?
I don't believe that this will generate any special tension against or so with Poland, because the tensions out there are also reactionary to the developing situation on the border. If the border between Greece and Turkey or on the Mediterranean towards the islands of Italy or Malta, or then on Canary Islands in Spain, they are having some migratory pressures on the day, then those points in time, those situations can procure truly difficult situations. But for now, it's actually not the case. With the stabilization of the situation in Syria, with the potentially a new peace process between the Palestinians and Israelis, the situation in the Middle East and migratory pressures coming from that region towards Greece, for example, are less than before. So that is not necessarily going to create more problems in the future, but maybe give us a little bit of a easier pathway. But of course, there will always be certain migratory pressures towards Europe, and there needs to be a participatory system of sharing that burden. That's what the Europeans have agreed to, and the law is the law, and those who participate in it hopefully will fully participate in it. Even in the 2015 law that was rejected by Poland, and Hungary were taken to the court, they lost the case. That was temporary, so it's a non-issue today. Then the certain Western European nations have agreed that there is definitely a need for a scheme, for example, to allow for underage people to be fast tracked with their proceedings, because they are losing a very valuable time in their upbringing, growing up, in their schooling, and then a specific voluntary system was established for a few member states participating, and that was not really a great problem for anyone to participate in a model like that. So there is a lot of goodwill, but also realistic looking at the situation, rather than exploring those high political sentiments against migratory pressures, like in Polish politics over a couple, which was just the latest revelation of the sort. I mean, we've for months all kinds of horrific campaigns.
Right, and do you think that Poland's resistance could be seen by some as setting a broader precedent for sort of pick and choose participation in these EU policies? Could this weaken collective decision making?
That is a threat, because especially in Poland, there is a tendency of trying to pick and choose the policies you like, and do not participate in all the policies out there. Especially, I'm thinking about the Green Deal and the climate transition policies, and if that was the case, that's really a problem, because the law is the law, and it's uniform for the entire union, and even if we disagree with the law, we can try to use certain provisions to get around it, and this is the case here for the migratory pact, but where there is no such exceptions, we need to comply.
Right. And so let's zoom in on some of the rules, right? For instance, if a member state opts out of a certain pact, right, what mechanism or perhaps sanctions does the EU have to enforce compliance?
If we talk about migration pact, for example, so the EU has the biggest tool out there to enforce compliance, of course, is to take the issue to the Court of Justice, and the Court of Justice can order fines. And also in the case of Poland, we have seen for many years that there is a quite long list of fines already against Poland, and then those are financial consequences, but those are heavy financial consequences. They are not unimportant. Hence, the levy is significant, and it goes. It doesn't go unnoticed, and it's always definitely an important argument to be made.
Mm-hmm. And the issue of this migration pact has become also a deeply national issue here in Poland, right? On Saturday, the main opposition party, Law and Justice, staged a protest, right, against the pact. But now that Prime Minister Tusk confirmed that Poland will be exempt from the scheme, Law and Justice suddenly finds itself without a clear argument. So what happens now? Do you think that they will shift their rhetoric to, for instance, Mercosur, or?
They probably will keep the argument against migration, because we see a conflicting argument on the Polish in the Polish debate between the if you like, legal migrants and illegal migrants, even though the word illegal migrant is a bit confusing. But because there's very few people who are so-called illegal migrants out there. There are many, many, many more who are legal migrants who are migrating to Poland. Poland is one of the major places right now in the European Union, in the Western world, that is pulling the new workers in, and people are coming. We have the lowest unemployment in Poland's history. We have the lowest unemployment in the EU right now. Therefore, there is labor here, and people are coming to fill those posts that otherwise are unfilled. And we need to have that conversation about our labor market and about our economic growth, as much as about integrating migrants who are legally here. And the question about people who are coming in illegally, it's a marginal issue, has always been a marginal issue.
And what about the issue of citizenship? Because recently more restrictions have been placed on that.
Well, they haven't been introduced yet, but we have a debate about it. President Nawrocki has mentioned, for example, his initiative. The government is allegedly thinking about putting its recommendations for how to change the policy of obtaining Polish citizenship. So we have a discussion about it. On TVP World just a couple of days ago, I did comment that this is very important to remember that our system is there, has been there, working relatively fine for the situation we have now. Poland have just granted citizenship to about 16,000 people last year, which is a slow number. But we need to be ready to take this decision as a country, as a society, that when this big number of people who are in the country and they will proceed with their time staying in Poland over 5 years, when they can start the process of become citizens. What are the rules? Are we ready for that? To welcome the new citizens among us, and that's exactly that this discussion is about. For the moment, is driven by nationalistic sentiment that we need to as if we were in need to protect ourselves against the other. But I hope that sooner or later Poles will understand that it's not about that we need to be afraid of people who are next to us. It's also about granting rights of people who are our neighbors, who are our colleagues, who could participate fully in the society that they are contributing to as well.
And that's a lovely conclusion for our talk. Piotr Maciej Kaczyński, lecturer, University of Warsaw, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching World Talks. Please stay tuned for more here on TVP World.